Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Bosco Explorer. yeah. Thank you so much for 200 subscribers. It's quite a great one. Yeah. yeah. This time around, we're not in the street. We are here in interesting session in the studio. With two guests here, and then we're gonna be discussing about interesting topic. Okay, this topic is so much beneficial to Africans the same way it might be also to the other race there out there in the Western world. But the reason why I pick on the topic is because it's been a very most discussed topic that most people in the YouTube and different medias are calling on Africans who are in diaspora to come back to Africa, to build, to develop. Big channels out there are also like showing what Africans who return from America, from Europe, and from different other countries in Asia and the rest are showing the great works they have done back in Africa. So I'm here to make this interaction with two of my guests and then asking them why do they think that it's good for Africans to move back to Africa. And then I will also want to ask them also, like we're gonna discuss on what are the importance, or do you think that do they think that Africans moving back to Africa will help Africa to rise to a greater height? I used to hear this acronym African Unites. So is it so significant that Africans have to move back to Africa to do great things in Africa? And then I will also be asking for advice, because I know many Africans are watching this and they will be wondering what's advice for Africans who are in Africa, in terms of if it's wise for them to come to diaspora or stay back in Africa to make it great. And also the question will also be like the advice they have for Africans in diaspora, if they think that it's worthwhile, for them to move back to Africa in order to do great things or give back to the society where they come from. So this is quite a very interesting topic. I found that mostly has not been discussed. It has been discussed in the other way around, calling back people back home. But I also kind of like want to know if actually people here think that it is worthwhile to move back after staying back a long time in Europe, in America. And we're doing this right here in Germany, okay? So keep watching, don't touch and we'll do it best. Let's go. Feel it! I'm right here with, may we know you?
Yeah, my name is Bright, everyone.
Okay, what about you?
I'm Olumide.
Yeah, okay, Brighton Olumide is here with me, and we are right here in Marburg, Germany, okay? And then my call-up is I want to know if actually people in Africa or people from Africa who are in the diaspora want to really come home, just like they are being called home by different media and personalities in Africa. So, yeah, Bright, first to you. Yeah, nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you also.
Thank you.
So, we want to ask, like, do you think that Africans who are in diaspora, not just in Germany particularly, but America, Europe, and even Asia, who would like to go home, like as they are being called upon by different setups to come home, and then what do you think about that?
Thank you very much for the question. First of all, in order not to sound really biased, I will speak with respect to Nigeria, where I'm from.
Okay.
And regarding the issue or the question, if Africans in diaspora would like to go back to Nigeria or maybe go back to Africa or rather stay here, I think it's an individual or something. It's the decision will vary from one person to another person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think currently a lot of people who are already living or find themselves in European countries or some of these places like the US would most likely tell you that they don't want to go back, right? Mm-hmm. And that is basically because of the fact that the living situation maybe that they find themselves compared to how they were living before in the past has really improved, and maybe also regarding opportunities that they have or they could have access to. And in that situation, a lot of people would say, you know what, they would prefer to stay rather than to move back. But also there are also definitely some people who will tell you that, yeah, they would also not mind going back. And like I said, it depends from individual to individual. It could be this kind of people, they already have a lot of things that they could do back home or something waiting for them, and great opportunities as well. So it varies from people to people.
Okay, it varies from people to people, from the opinion of brides, and I think also it's really highly individualistic because the situation of one person abroad may not be the same with another person, just like you have stated. So I think the point is very clear from what he said. My friend, Olumide, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I'm going to support what Bright have said. I mean, it depends on your own. I mean, it depends on individual. I mean, the way I came to Germany, for example, is different from how someone else came to Germany.
Exactly.
For example, I came to Germany to study. So after my study, I decided that okay, I think there are opportunities for me here. Then I decided to stay back. Then for someone else, you could perhaps decide to go back to Africa, for example. I mean, I've met so many people, I mean, several people who have businesses in Nigeria, but they just came here to add more knowledge to their skills and all, and they would like to go back to Nigeria to manage or to continue to manage their business. And we have also some people who came to Germany or to other places in Europe to study, and they have more senior roles, for example, waiting for them at home. So they prefer the culture at home, they prefer the atmosphere at home, then they would like to come back. Where we also have so many other people who don't want to go back to Africa. I mean, they have their own reasons. I can't think for them. For example, some people might be, perhaps they believe they have more opportunities there. Some people believe they have more, perhaps. I mean, I can't think for everybody. So it's like, it depends on the individuals.
Yeah, I think his answers also kind of boil down to almost the point that Bright raised a while ago, because this is highly individualistic. But to make it more clear, he said that it's more of those who want to go home may have bigger things waiting for them, and then some people may have better opportunity abroad and they choose to maximize their opportunity, which calling them back home when they knew or when they don't have any glance of what they are going home to do may not seem meaningful to them, you know. If you ask me, I would say I have a friend actually who lives in Europe also, and this guy, he told me, I asked him, when are you going back to Africa? And then he told me, to do what?
Wow.
I said, bro, I mean, you come from Africa. And then he said to me, yeah, I mean, we want development in Africa, right? To the top notch. I said, yes. I said, but I'm living it right here. I mean, his mentality is that maybe what most of African countries is clamoring for as a nation or as a continent, that he already living in it. So, and then calling him to go home.
Why should he go back?
Why will he go home? I mean, you see, his opinion is quite, peculiar. And then, if you want to reason it out, common reasoning, it made sense in terms of he's living in a place he found more opportunity and felt like all he might be clamoring for development, he's already living in it, and then he doesn't want to go home.
Yeah, I think. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
I think development could be different from opinion to opinion. Probably what it meant by development could be something else in someone else's opinion, and probably we don't even know the exact part of Africa he or she is from.
Exactly.
And also, from what you said, he is already living the life he wanted.
Exactly.
So, I mean, why should he go back? So, I mean,
what do you think? What do you think about that?
I mean, at the end of the day, a lot the people who are calling for Africans to return home and come back to their various countries should also, sort of put more emphasis on analyzing the cost and benefit for the individuals that applies to each individual, right? So, like I said already, for an individual, and you're living somewhere like one of those Western countries, and before you go back to where you're coming from, you probably would have made some analysis and check, okay, is it better off for me to go back? And maybe, for example, you could imagine you already have, maybe along the line, you have a child while you're studying. It's not just about jobs or something. Maybe you created your own small home somewhere else, like in Germany, you have a child or you have a partner, for example. So you have to consider all these factors. Okay, is it worth me going back and starting all over again or bringing my family down? And also, you could also think, okay, now that I'm here, is it the development differences, right? So the opportunities and so many other factors. So you have to also consider these factors when you are persuading or maybe influencing people to come back home. You have to also put this into consideration, like try to see it from everyone's perspective, and I think that would be a good starting point.
Okay, so yeah, I think I will bring it to a nutshell here that it's really peculiar to individual. This call to come home. And if you ask me, basically, for my opinion, I will tell you that I think it's important that people will be more of where they find more opportunity and have a better life. And then if they feel like they have more, or maybe there is something more impactful or more meaningful they want to do better than what they're doing where they are, then they should go for it, probably in Africa or anywhere. So it's highly individualistic in this kind of opinion, but I think with the knowledge we have, it will make a lot of sense for people, So I also have this great question, and then I'll first give it to you because we're here, Bright and Sun for the first time, and then that is, do you think that Africans coming home will bring up great development or a rise to African as a continent? Like, if Africans in diaspora returns home, will it really, make Africa great and then, greater than it is, because Africa is a great continent? What do you think about it? Will it bring development or changes significantly?
First of all, I must say Africa is a great continent, like you said. So, saying Africans in the diaspora coming home to make Africa better or great, I don't really buy the idea, because when you're saying people coming home to make Africa great, so are we saying people in Africa already that are not in diaspora, they cannot make Africa great? It's not about going out of Africa to come back to make Africa great, because we all have our brains and we have all our skills. I can learn different skills abroad. The same skill I learned abroad, somewhere in Nigeria, for example, could learn even more better than me. Let's talk about tech, for example. We have, talking about tech today, we have different levels of tech in Nigeria. People people in Europe, for example, employ people directly from Nigeria to come to Europe, to America, to even to develop their own country. So that says a lot, that even in Africa, we have so many people, so many youth who are good, we have skillful, who can even make Africa better. So saying people coming home to make Africa better, it raises it raises questions like, okay, what are you saying exactly? In what way do you think people coming home would make Africa better? Because I believe people also live in Africa. Africa is not empty. So we have people also who can make Africa better. But I think people also coming home could probably join their own knowledge with the people already at home to make Africa better.
Okay, right, great. So it's more like saying that people in Africa are also humans, and then they're doing greatly and making their contributions. That it does not really point down that Africa becoming better must be that people abroad or in diaspora should come.
Just to count that up. If we want to make Africa better, it depends on us. It depends on individual. Do you really want to make Africa better?
Exactly.
Whether you are abroad or you are home, do you really want to make Africa better? Let's start about the bad leadership, for example. But if I decide to go back to Nigeria, for example, probably with a lot of goodies, I have plans to make Nigeria better, for example. What about a lot of people who don't care if Nigeria is good or not? What about the leader? One man cannot do it alone. So going back to make it better is like, it's kind of stressful.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get touch a little bit about this leadership thing. What do you think about?
Right. So from what he said already, I'm fully in support of what he said. I think there's so much great talent, untapped talent in Africa. To the point that you would already see that most of the Western countries are even sourcing out from talent from most of these African countries. I have a couple of, people, engineers from Nigeria that got employed in Germany. They had to move forward to Germany and then relocate and all that. So that means that we already have so much talent in Africa, in Nigeria, whatever you want to call it. And the problem is not even people who already live in the abroad moving back, but the problem is, creating an enabling environment for those people who are already there, so you actually succeed. I don't know if you get my point, right? So we have millions of people in Nigeria, for example. So, and from these millions of people, there are so many great talents there. Trust me. And one only thing that is missing currently is just the enabling environment. So, if this could be provided, Africa could be great, Nigeria could be great, and we might even need less help from people in the diaspora.
I think this point has raised the question. Honestly, I didn't know about this. I'm grateful to be in this show, honestly, because it's talking about enabling environment, and this could be a factor why people are even leaving to go abroad. Like, I noticed that some doctors who are in Nigeria are migrating abroad where they get better paid.
I think in UK, Canada,
UK, Canada. And then guess what? My friend from South Africa, Diva, she told me that she has some of our relatives who are, moving outside South Africa to go and live in Europe and Italy and different places. And then I was like, I never knew that South Africans travel that, she told me, but initially, before now, that they don't really travel, exactly. Because they have an enabling environment. But now, the way things are going, people are now starting nurturing the idea of leaving South Africa to go and look for a better life outside. Exactly. So you see, this boils down to enabling environment that you just mentioned.
It's a thing. It's a trend that I also noticed personally from my own personal experience. Why people would move from Africa to even European or even Western countries, right? So look at it from this perspective. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, the euro to naira was about 400 naira, right? So which means now currently it's about 800 naira from the black rate, which means if you were aiming, for example, 400k 5 years ago, which is equivalent to 1,000 euros, and 5 years after you had like an increment in salary to 800,000. On the book, it says you're aiming 100% higher, but you're still aiming 1,000 euros.
Still on the same.
So you're still on the same cycle, right? So it's what else could people do? Those are the economic factors that the people themselves don't really have control over. So at the end of the day, people just find, okay, does it pay me more to do the same skill that I'm doing here, practice the same skill here and earn this amount, or rather go to Germany or go to Canada or US and even earn more? And when you have the answers to this question, then you have the reason or the answers to the reason why people would prefer to leave.
So does this boil down to Africa having a bad government, or let me put it this way, inappropriate functioning government that does not create this enabling environment? Because just like you said, one person going home to Africa thinking that they're gonna make change may be so stressful, may not even make so much significant change that will affect the nation, may or may not. So now my question is it boiling down to governments neglecting their function to provide this enabling environment for Africans? What do you think?
I think that is very obvious. African leaders, I mean, I don't want to say other leaders all over the world because I don't really know about the government of other continent. But talking about Africa, I think it's very obvious that the leaders are not functioning. They are just like dead leaves because they're just there to fight for their own pocket, and they don't mind if they are old enough to, or they are too old to rule the nation or not. I mean, I think they are there for their own pocket because they know exactly what to do. This guy, they know exactly what to do. They travel abroad, they see all these good roads, they see 24 hours, what am I even saying, 24 hours? They see like everlasting power supply. So they know how to do this. They know what is going on. So they come here for vacation, then they come back to Nigeria they don't do this today. It's very obvious that we have not functioning government in Africa. And this is this is like a 70% problem in Africa. And I won't blame government totally because they didn't get it themselves. We voted them. So most time we see a particular party or parties that have been ruling a country for so long, and you are in the same circle, or in fact you are moving backward. Then you still voting for these people from this same party the next election. Let's say Nigeria, for example, we have different parties: APC, PDP, For example, PDP ruled for like I think 16 or more than 16 years before APC. Now APC are ruled again. Now, if you study the next election in Nigeria, for example, we see the major party now is like APC, PDP, and let's say Labour Party, for example. So these guys and people from this party who are coming out are still the same people who has been ruling Nigeria for too long. So we have other parties that are not even popular, but because we have these popular parties, we just want to go ahead and vote for them. So that is another part. Other part are like Africans also, because when you say Africa is not just a country. Africa is like the people. These are Africans. So we even have some Africans who are also corrupt. I mean, they don't even want it to be better, because one way or the other they are even benefiting from the bad government. So that is why I said earlier that going back to Africa and saying you want to make Africa better, the people at home can actually make it better if they want to make it better.
Okay. Right. So what do you have to think on that? Do you think that government is really, a factor in creating an enabling environment that will make Africa great, or the people, just like he said that people in Africa can really make Africa better, not necessarily calling for people who are in diaspora to come and help or to do this categorically?
To be honest with you, I think creating an enabling environment for any country, it's a general responsibility, not just from the leaders, also the masses, which makes up the government, right? So let's start from the leadership aspect, the so-called elected government, right? So on that side, what we see from the most African countries is that most of these guys are not efficient. They are not doing things the right way. Either they are not making the right policies, they are not investing in the right sectors, or they are just mismanaging funds for their own selfish interests. That is a huge problem that we see. In Nigeria, for example, it has been like that for a long time. And from the masses' perspective as well, they also have their own faults, or could be blamed, or could also do better in terms of, election, for example, right? It's coming up again in Nigeria next month, right? So you as a citizen of the country, things has been going wrong for over a period of time, and you have this particular set of leader, which he was already saying that has been ruling. So it is expected from you as the masses to go deep into research and check which other party or which other politician or political leader could also do this job better, and instead of recycling the same set of people from the same party. That is one side. I'm just talking about the franchise aspect of the contribution of the citizens. Another part is most of the people are also really greedy. Really, really greedy. That is something me personally have seen, I've witnessed, and I've experienced. Most Africans would tend to exhibit greedy attitude, and I don't blame them also, because it's just the environment that we find ourselves. We find ourselves in an environment whereby people have to live off people's ignorance, or looking for it's a give me something, looking for one person's flop and then benefit from it. So it goes a long way to even affect the society at large. And
I agree.
I think both parties, the government and the people, the masses, the leaders, they have a huge role to play in making this environment.
Okay. See, from what we've discussed so far, if you ask me, I would say that it's just like we're saying, the correction of the problem, or the correction of the on what to do to make Africa greater, is from the roots. It's not tackling it from up to down, but from the down to up, starting with the people, with the government, with the system. You understand? To me, I will also add with the mentality of people, just like you said, people live off people. And this way you are bringing someone down to come up. At the end of the day, you are getting up and bringing someone down. It does not also make something great, actually. Rather, it's causing pain somewhere else. So I think it has to come with the mentality, it has to come with the attitude, it has to come with commitment, and then it has to come with a new orientation. Just like you said, like new set of leaders, new set of mindset, new set of things has to come in place, because I believe that Africa has everything it takes. Look, when I make researches and I see where Africans are really like top notch in medicine, mostly Nigerians, like you always see, like in the US, in the UK, like in different experts in different fields, and they are living a better life abroad. Those people most time may not have that opportunity to be where they are if they stayed back in the system that limits them.
Exactly. I've seen so many YouTube videos or small kid on Instagram making machines like car, like flying plane, like
they have the environment, the enabling environment, you know. So that is it. I think that the work also needs to be done from the roots, but I am not also saying that there is a negligence to people from the diaspora also going home when they they can, to be able to put energy together, because I believe also that this is like a call for all.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like a particular people's call, but this politician from South Africa that I like so much, Julius Malema. Julius Malema will always say like he has a dream for a better Africa, whereby there's no border, just like you have the European Union. They have a fundamental freedom. Movement of goods, traveling, everything is no restriction.
Like the Schengen,
the Schengen. And then, it's not a bad dream for Africa also, because this will enable flow movement of goods, services. And, we're talking about Africa generally. So this helps to, each nation also to serve for another nation to have a greater continent, So that's it. And I have one more last question, and then I'll be asking you, Bright. Do you think that what advice do you have for Africans in Africa trying to move over to Western world, like one of these countries we are in, America, Germany, and the rest? And then also, what advice do you have for Africans who are thinking, is it to move back to Africa to, make a contribution for Africa to be great, or stay back and build more on their career and their life? What advice do you have for these two set of Africans?
All right. Starting from the first set, the people who are still in Africa that would, that are thinking or planning to migrate to somewhere else outside of Africa.
Yeah.
I think my advice would be, depending on the reason why you want to migrate. If the reason why you want to migrate is for a search of greener pasture, then I would say take it easy. The search for greener pasture, they say the grass is greener, or the grass is green where you water it, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be abroad.
Yeah.
Right, and you could also you could water your grass also somewhere in Africa and even make it greener than someone else in abroad as well.
Yeah.
And also, if you must go to the abroad, if this is what you want to do, then go through the legal routes and make sure you prepare yourself. Make yourself valuable to the country you're going to. And by upskilling yourself, and not just come and say because you're in a land of milk and honey, so everything's just going to work well for you. Because if you come, for example, with nothing to offer, you are as good as what you're actually running away from. So put yourself together, upskill yourself if you must travel, and do it the legal way. And otherwise, you could also stay in your home country and make great things. For example, this is 2023, sorry. Yeah. And we live in a digitalized world right now. Everything can be done from everywhere you are part of the world. You can be in Nigeria, for example, have a great skill. Companies or institutions from these Western countries could reach out to you. Could even work remotely from your home country in hard currency, if that's the most important part of it to you.
Definitely.
So you don't have to actually travel. So check this, options and factors and see which of them works best for you. However, on the other side, about the people who are also already in the diaspora, my advice would also be, consider the factors that are surrounding your own spectacular situation. So if it's really worth it for you to go back, then do it, right? Otherwise, if maybe you have a lot of factors that are keeping you, that you have to keep up with here and the abroad, then go with it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you heard his advice, right? I take it more on people and Africans who are in Africa. Um, Sometimes the look can be deceptive, you know. Sometimes don't go by not having a nitty gritty knowledge of wherever you're going to. You make your research and know whether you have something to offer. If you don't have and you still want to move, prepare to have something to offer, because you may be as good as where you are, as good as how you are, even maybe worse when you run away. So you made a very vital point. You know, so many people don't know this. I met an African guy from Rwanda. He came to Germany, and then he wanted to do a preparatory program. He wanted to do a BSc program. So he now came and realized that you need to learn language for at least 1.5 years to be able to study in German. And then also he need to also do a preparatory program also for like 1.5 years. And it was like, yeah, that was like 3 years. And he said that people who also travel to other places has already started their BSc straight away. You know, so I mean, in one of my interview, you know, when I was asking, you know, he was like saying it and said, like, you need to know where you're going and what is obtainable. Yeah. The system works, but you will check if it works best for you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that is it. You made a very vital point on that. And then, what do you think in this? What's your advice?
Yeah, I think if you're planning to go back home, like we said at the beginning of the interview, discussion, I mean, you have your own reason of going back home in the first place. So if you're going back home, I mean, if your reason is genuine to you and you believe in your own reason, why not? Just do what makes you happy. Then if you are home, you want to come to me, you want to japa, like Nigerians would say, you want to travel abroad, then you must also have a reason. I mean, it's good to travel. It's good to travel abroad if you want to, but make sure you have a reason in the first place. Make sure you have something to offer, like you said. Coming to Germany, for example, prepare your mind. Or make your research. It's not like a bed of roses, because you know when you come to Germany, the language is the number one barrier. So just prepare your mind for this. Even if you're going to UK, for example, for Africans, English-speaking Africans going to UK, for example, despite the fact that English is still the language in the UK, still find so many challenges to face. So just make your research and find out about where you're going and prepare your mind. What am I going to offer in the first place? Because you travel to no man's land and you don't even have anything to offer, then why are you here?
And you pay huge bills, man.
Exactly.
So if you start to prepare there, it will cost you more, you know.
Exactly. Even if you don't have what to offer in the first place, but the moment you get there, start preparing yourself and start getting what to offer.
Sure. Yeah. So on the other round, like, what do you say to Africans who are in Africa, who are in diaspora, who want to go home? Like, do you think it's worth it? And then what advice do you have for them?
I will not give a direct answer to that. I will not say it's worth it or it doesn't work. Like I said, it depends on you. It depends on your reason. I mean, why you're going back in the first place. If you have a good reason, maybe you have businesses at home, or you believe you have more opportunities at home, for example. Why not just do it? But if you believe going back is not worth it for you, then just stay back where you are happy, where you have more opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see, as it stands now, I think like a lot of information. I even learned a lot in this discussion that it depends on what works best for you. I believe also that even if you want to contribute to a nation building or a continent building, you must have built yourself.
Exactly.
You cannot offer something that you don't have.
No.
And then joining the bandwagon that say Africa should come back home, and then you you moved with all your stuff and going home and then you realize that you're a problem in the society because you're not helping anybody. Rather, you're even a problem they want to help. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like when you don't have anything to offer, at the end of the day, you're looking for what will be offered to you.
Exactly.
So you're not even building to the rising of the place. Rather, you are even finding a way to help yourself. Yeah. So that's why it's good. Like if you feel like where you are gives you better opportunity to be well prepared as a person to grow. it's better to sit back and grow to the extent that you can say, yes, I think it's high time to go and do better or help people who needs me or stuff like that, you know. And in that your little way of helping around your street, your neighborhood, you don't know how much you've contributed to even the nation building or the continent itself.
Exactly.
So thank you a lot for coming for the show. I really appreciate your time and your intelligent contributions.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so viewers, thank you for staying to the end of this discussion. A very informative, interactive section. I hope you enjoy it with the company of Brides. And then Olumide, I used to call him Olamide, you know? But yeah, the Afrobeat singer. So thank you so much, and then I'll see you on my next video. Have a great day. Bye.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
So you have to sit somewhere here. Hi guys.
Hi guys.
My name is Bryce.
I'm Olumide.
So together we want to tell you to keep watching
Bosco
Explore YouTube channel and
don't
subscribe. Hi guys. No.
Oh my god. Okay.
I will say hi guys. Hi guys. My name is Bryce and I'm with.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, chill. Hi guys, my name is Bright and I'm with Olumide. Together we want you to keep watching.
Together, I want together. You both of you say.
You
know, you're not gonna talk on behalf of him now. You know, say you're not gonna talk together. You say, hi guys.
You just say hi guys.
Yeah.
I'm Bright, and with me is I'll say Olumide.
Yes.
You come.
Keep watching. Work together. Yeah. Bosco.
Keep watching.
Bosco.
Wait, if I say keep watching, you will talk Bosco. Then you will talk Explore channel. No need to break down. If I say keep watching, you just talk Bosco Explore YouTube channel. Then I'll just talk subscribe and like.
Yeah. Go.
Hi guys, my name is Bright and I'm with
Olumide. I want to tell you to keep watching.
Yeah, one talk say.
Now you know what you want to.
Yeah. No, Olumide is supposed to talk that because you don't talk as introduce your name.
Okay, you come on. Okay, now you go to the last.
Yes.
I'm just talking say keep watching.
Keep watching and subscribe.
Wait. See, hi guys, my name is Bright and I'm with Olumide.
Now me go talk my name.
Yes, I'm with
Olumide.
Please keep watching Bosco's YouTube.
It's 2, 3, go.
Hi guys, my name is Bright and I'm with
Olumide.
What is this? It's Jesus.
Hi guys, my name is Bright and I'm with
Olumide.
Keep watching
Bosco Explore YouTube channel.
and please like, share and with your friends and family.